working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. At least 68 people have been killed and thousands were forced to flee their homes after floods and landslides hit the island of Sulawesi, Indonesia, an official said Saturday. The death toll in the twin blasts at Sulu Cathedral on Sunday, January 27, has reached 20, the police said, with 112 injured. The iLight Singapore Festival features over 30 light installations in the city-state's downtown area, from illuminated bridges to a mass of digital neon tubing. At least 68 people have been killed and thousands were forced to flee their homes after floods and landslides hit the island of Sulawesi, Indonesia, an official said Saturday. Some 6,700 people in the 14 districts have been evacuated and are now living in shelters, schools, tents, or mosques. The number of the evacuees has doubled from Friday after the disaster mitigation officials managed to get access to previously isolated districts and update the figures. 6 people are still declared missing after the disaster. Head of local disaster mitigation agency Siam Sibar, who like many Indonesians goes by one name, told media Saturday many evacuees have started to go home and clean up their house because the rain is no longer intense then. Goa district was the worst hit with at least 45 people found dead. Local government have set up public kitchens and emergency medical clinics for the displaced people, and aid has started pouring into the affected districts, Stacia Simbar said. Water has started to recede and access to transportation has slowly returned to normal. Landslides and floods are common in Indonesia, especially during the monsoon season between October and April, when rain lashed the vast Southeast Asian archipelago. The death toll in the twin blast at Sulu Cathedral on Sunday, January 27, has reached 20, the police said, with 112 injured. Earlier, the police said the death toll in the explosions at the Mount Carmel Cathedral in Jolo town had reached 27. The police regional office 9 clarified the fatalities were 5 military personnel and 15 civilians, while 2 police officers, 65 civilians, and 14 military personnel were hurt. There are also conflicting reports on how many people were killed in the incident. The blasts, which came one after the other after 8 a.m., took place after the Bangsamoro Organic Law was deemed ratified by the Commission on Elections after an overwhelming yes vote from the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao. Sulu, which is also in the ARMM, had voted against the ratification of the BOL, which President Rodrigo Duterte has touted as the only solution to the problems in Mindanao. The BOL aims to replace the ARMM with a more autonomous Bangsamoro. The palace condemned the blasts, with Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana vowing the full force of the law would be implemented against the perpetrators. President Rodrigo Duterte will visit the site of the twin blast in Sulu that killed at least 20 and injured 81 on Monday, January 28. According to the palace's scheduled release on the same day, the president would inspect the damage on the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Cathedral in Jolo. The schedule did not say, however, if the President Duterte would visit the relatives of those who were killed in the blast, which took place after the Commission on Elections deemed ratified the Bangsamoro Organic Law. Sulu had rejected ratification of the law, which aims to replace the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao with a more autonomous Bangsamoro. The Philippine National Police has declared a nationwide heightened alert following the bombings on Sunday in a Catholic church in Jolo, Sulu. This came about as Interior and Local Government Secretary Eduardo Año said that the bombing is possibly connected to the recent results of the Bangsamoro Organic Law plebiscite in Sulu, where the no votes won over the yes votes. Año noted that Sunday's bombing happened days after Sulu voters rejected the BOL with a slim margin. PNP spokesperson Senior Superintendent Bernardino Banac said the PNP's nationwide heightened alert became effective on midnight of January 27. The heightened alerts includes the intensified checkpoints operations and strict implementation of the election gun ban. Banac said that PNP Director General Oscar Albayalde is now in Jolo, Sulu to oversee the post-task investigation and to personally extend the condolences of the national leadership. The PNP is increasing its checkpoints in the area. Banac said that the PNP is encouraging the public to still go out and do their usual routines. The yes vote lost at 137,630 as against 163,526 no votes, based on Sulu's certificate of canvass signed by the Commission on Elections Provincial Plebiscite Board of Canvassers. Australia and the European Union on Sunday sent condolences to the families of those killed in the twin bombings in Jolo, Sulu. New Australian ambassador to the Philippines, Steve Robinson, said his thoughts are with those who lost loved ones and those affected by the attack in Sulu. In a message on his official Twitter account, Robinson reaffirmed Australia's strong condemnation of all acts of terror. EU Ambassador to the Philippines, Franz Jessen, shared similar sentiments with the Australian envoy as he conveyed deepest condolences and sympathies to the families of those who were killed and injured in the incident. Jessen said in a statement he expresses his solidarity with the Filipino people during these trying times, adding Filipinos have always been resilient, steadfast and collaborative, and he is certain that these values will see them through in this sad situation. Two explosions on Sunday morning tore through a church in Jolo, killing 17 and injuring dozens others. Initial reports reveal that two improvised explosive devices exploded at a minute interval inside and at the entrance of the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Cathedral while a mass was ongoing. Cambodia's strongman Premier Hun Sen on Thursday called on his country's military to destroy opponents if the government comes under threat. The 66-year-old premier has in recent weeks turned up the rhetoric against the now-dissolved opposition party, the European Union, and the other critics of his government. Since his ruling party swept the July election widely considered a sham, the EU has warned it may withdraw its everything but arms scheme, which allows Cambodia's lucrative garment sector duty-free access to its massive markets. In the wake of the move, Hun Sen, a five-star general despite his position as the country's civilian leader, has been even more outspoken than usual. He said in a speech to soldiers marking the 20th anniversary of the infantry, which is headed by his son Hun Manet, some people say Hun Sen is consolidating power, and that is very correct. Hun Sen urged the army to destroy revolutions that attempt to topple the legitimate government, adding he is not afraid to issue an order if faced with threats. Referring to the lives lost during the ultra-Maoist Khmer Rouge regime, which left a quarter of the population dead, he said better to see the death of 4 or 5 people rather than the death of tens of thousands and millions. He also called on the lines of soldiers in front of him to purge the ranks of any troops who oppose the government, saying they must be destroyed. He added that he is the one who steers the wheel. The wily former Khmer Rouge cadre has stayed in power for more than 30 years through a dense patronage network that analysts say largely benefits his family, the armed forces, and the elite.
nakikita po namin yung problema sa iba't ibang panig ng lansangan ng lungsod ng Maynila. Nakita namin yung mga kabataan sa lansangan, hindi lamang sa isang lugar, kundi sa iba-ibang street ng Manila. So nag-isip ang Manila Police District na maglunsad ng isang programa upang matugunan ang problema nito. Na kung minsan makikita po natin naging viral pa ang pagkaka-involve ng kabataan sa mga krimen, sa mga kaguluhan, rambol. Kaya sa panguna po ng mobile force ng Manila Police District, nagsagawa kami ng isang programa na tinawag ng Mobile Lagay.
Masasabi ko po yung kumbaga yung laging binabalita. Sabi-sabi na pag nakakita ng pulis na movie, tumatakbo. So dito po kabaligtaran, mabilis yung transition, mga 1 week after nung activity namin, susunod na week, doon namin naramdaman na welcome pala kami sa mga bata na to. Kasi pag nakita pa lang nila sa Ross Boulevard yung movie, pag sumampa na sa gutter, sila mismo yung sumasampa dun sa library, papunta dun sa destination namin. Kaya natutuwa po kami.
How will we keep the prices down?
Pero baka matulungan niyo ako dito. May kaibigan ako, taga-Kapitolyo. Baka kilala niyo ho?
Welcome back. Philippine-based businesses are the most optimistic in Southeast Asia in terms of outlook on the local economy this year, according to Grant Thornton's International Business Report. The IBR recently reported that 66% of surveyed businesses in the country are positive about the Philippine economy this year, even higher than that of the optimism in ASEAN, which stood only at 42%. The optimistic outlook in Indonesia posted at 61%, Malaysia and Vietnam both at 38%, and Singapore at 18%. Businesses in Thailand were pessimistic about their local economy, as net optimism was recorded at -1%. The Grant Thornton report said global outlook for businesses this year is also more reserved, with the cooling of economic cycle and political uncertainties around the world. It noted that economic uncertainty is identified by business leaders as the biggest risk, peaking at 50%, a rise of 22% from second quarter 2018. This can be partly attributed to geopolitical tensions such as the United States-China trade war. Grant Thornton global leader Francesca Lagerberg said while global financial markets are increasingly volatile, business leaders in the real economy remain optimistic because global GDP is forecast to continue growing and they know their business will grow with it. Despite increasing downside risk, economic fundamentals remain strong and opportunities exist. However, for the Philippines alone, 70% of surveyed businesses projected that their revenues will increase this year. 52% forecast that their exports will grow, and 62% said that they will hire more in 2019. P&A Grant Thornton Chair and Chief Executive Officer Marivic Espano said it doesn't look like a downturn is on the horizon. Sentiment has more likely decreased owing to slower trend growth, subdued inflation, and low macro volatility, a so-called normalizing of the global economy. Filipino hotel chain Astoria Hotels and Resorts has so far invested 1.5 billion pesos for its ongoing project in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. AHR is developing Astoria, Palawan, adding 30 new premier villas that have direct access to the beachfront of Sulu Sea. With these additional villas, Astoria, Palawan now has a total of 146 rooms. Astoria, Palawan is also set to open the pavilion, its new food and beverage outlet, by the first quarter this year. AHR's 1.5 billion peso investments also include the development of Palawan Water Park by Astoria. AHR President Jeffrey Nang said, quote, "This investment is proof of their belief in the continued growth of foreign tourists, their commitment to develop the countryside as part of their nation-building efforts, and to make a positive impact on human capital by providing avenues for gainful employment to their fellow Filipinos." Nang added that the company is taking advantage of the increasing number of visitors in Puerto Princesa, Palawan. He expressed optimism in the local tourism industry with the inclusion of the Puerto Princesa Underground River on the list of the new 7 Wonders of Nature in 2011. In 2017, Palawan was also named as the world's best island by New York-based magazine Travel Plus Leisure. Tourism-related businesses should make adjustments for the additional Chinese tourists that the government expects will visit this year, a leading business figure says. Vice President of the Lao National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Davon Pachantabong, told Vietnam Times last week that hotels, restaurants, guest houses, and travel agents should try to deliver services at prices that will meet the expectations of Chinese visitors. The Vientiane Times also reported that Lao and China officially launched Visit Lao China Year 2019 at the National Culture Hall in Vientiane last Friday. It is hoped that the two countries will become more enticing holiday destinations as a result of the campaign. Officials expect 1 million Chinese tourists out of an overall total of 5 million to visit Lao this year. According to Mr. Dalvon, service providers learning some Chinese language would help customer relations.
sa Asia, France, Germany o Italy, saan man sa Europa.
Ikaw ba ay isang OFW? Alam mo ba ang iyong mga karapatan? Subaybayan ang gabay ng OFW International tuwing Lunes at Sabado, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi, dito lang sa DCEC Radyo Agila.
Hi everyone, I'm Maria Marikio and today I'm here at the Japanese Gardens in Portland, Oregon. If you want to experience greenery and unique landscaping, as well as peace, tranquility, tune in to EBC Digital Nest. I'm Maria Marikio and I'm 1 with 25.
Iba't ibang di pangkaraniwang pangyayari ang nagaganap sa ating komunidad sa buong bansa at magiging sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig.
Mga pangyayaring nagpapakilo sa damdamin, nagsisilbing inspirasyon at nakakaapekto sa mga mamamayan.
Sa mata ng Agila, patuloy kaming maghahatid ng tunay, patas at balanse mga balita na walang ibang motibo kundi serbisyo publiko.
Subaybayan ang mga hatid naming balita sa Eaglenews.PH Facebook at Twitter pages.
At sa Eagle News Live YouTube channel.
At sa aming website, ang Eaglenews.PH.
Mata ng Agila! Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 hanggang alas 7:30 ng gabi.
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Welcome back. The iLight Singapore Festival features over 30 light installations in the city-state's downtown area, from illuminated bridges to a mass of digital neon tubing. It is the 7th year and the festival has run. The event has been expanded for the 2019 edition as it is being organized as part of celebrations to mark 200 years since Sir Stamford Raffles founded modern-day Singapore. It will run over 4 weekends from January 28 to February 24. Take a look. Let's go visit another ASEAN heritage park, a national treasure called the Bai Tu Long National Park. It's a protected area zone in northeastern Vietnam. It's one of 7 Vietnamese amphibian national parks which has both terrestrial and aquatic zones. Watch this. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.